This your brother Van Silk, Not in My House. Another episode, Not in My House with Van Silk. You can catch me on rumble.com, youtube.com, Spotify for podcasters, Anchor Podcasts. Lately I've been talking about sports, but basically I want to talk about Mr. John Morant and to all his followers and believers of not understanding why what he did was not illegal, but what he did was against the rules of the NBA because he has a signed contract. So I'm dedicating this all to the Pookies and Ray Rays who may not understand the corporate world and what people do. So I ain't gonna forget JJ Redick and his nonsense or what he said on TV. But let me explain something to the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Yes, y'all from the ghetto neighborhoods. Y'all who don't have any education and understanding about rules and regulations. John Morant works for a corporation. Now what he did was not against the law, twice having a gun in videos. But what he did was against the rules and regulation of the NBA, which he has a signed contract. He's an employee of the NBA. Okay, he's an employee. He works for the NBA. The NBA have moral clauses in their contracts. They have bonuses in their contract. The reason why John Morant lost $40 million out of his contract because he didn't make any of the all-defense team, all-ABA team. He didn't make any of those three. So he lost $40 million. Now, if he'd have made it, he would have got it. But let's go back to the strip club. You shirtless with a gun. How did a gun get from Houston to Denver? And none of your Pookie and Ray Ray homeboys bought it on a commercial flight, and they don't fly with you on the team flight because the brother that was with you in the second video is banned from the Grizzly games. He's the one who shined the laser lights on the Indiana Pacer players. But there's previous incidents that John Morant's been involved with. Allegedly beating up a teenage boy that he was playing a pickup game at his house and went and got a gun. Going to the mall to take up for his mother who got in an argument with somebody at a sneaker store. The on-court antics. Okay, it's good within the confines of the game. But my brother, out of all the NBA players, you're the only one that want to play with guns in videos. Now, it ain't like if you went to the shooting range and you had a gun. Oh, that's understandable. That's the American way. It ain't like if you was in the woods hunting and you had a rifle or whatever. But you are promoting what all the rappers, the non-essential rappers, the ones who try to make it, flashing the gun. What's the purpose? What's the reason? You sat down with the commissioner at the NBA and you told him you made a mistake and you went, you're supposed to have an 8-game suspension, which really turned out to be 2. You lost $600,000 in pay, something similar, something like that. Powerade, who for 5 years didn't mess with no athlete, decided to mess with you. They had to put all the advertisement on hold during March Madness. And then the deal you got for Nike is the deal that Kyrie Irving had. They dropped Kyrie Irving, signed you to a signature deal, and now they took your whole John Morant app off the Nike website, meaning we don't know what to do because you don't know what to do. We're not trying to hear about you being young because you know what you're doing. You wasn't young enough to go to a strip club, and you wasn't young enough to have a gun. You wasn't young enough to buy a house. You wasn't young enough to have a child. So we ain't trying to hear that you're young. LeBron James was 18 when he came in the league. Michael Jordan was young. Magic Johnson was young. Okay, Kevin Durant was young. What's your excuse? Kawhi Leonard was young. Do I need to say more? Now, you might have a few outcasts in the NBA who do silly things, beat up their girlfriends. Like Miles Bridges got into an altercation with his baby mama, lost a contract. All these athletes in college play their heart and soul out to get into the NBA. You get into the NBA with a max contract of $231 million that starts next year. And you at the edge of blowing it because the Pookies and Ray Rays are encouraging you, because I'm quite sure you online reading comments. Pookies and Ray Rays and Shaquitas. There are moral clauses in corporations. Let's speak on J.J. Redick, a role player who ain't never had this type of contract. Caucasian, white ball player. Gonna sit up here and bring up a congressman who had an AR-15 standing with his family. Okay. And let Congress deal with that. Do the congressmen play for the NBA? But I bet you, J.J. Redick, you got moral clause in your contract at ESPN. Look what happened to your man that used to play for the Celtics. He was home. Video with strippers smoking weed. Yeah, they took him off the air. Yes, they took him off the air because moral clause in your contract. When you get these type of deals and contracts and you're in front of the public guy, they're looking for respectability. They're looking for you to uphold their brand. They're not looking for you to demolish or diminish their brand. They have stockholders and people that invest. I'm quite sure the people at Nike had to have more than one meeting on when to give you this type of money. I'm quite sure the people at Powerade sat down with the CEO and the stockholders and said, we believe in John Morant to be the face of Powerade. But yet you want to ride around the car and a little 8-10 seconds of you flashing the gun, playing rap music. I don't care if you were playing country music, jazz, whatever, you were still out of order. Second time. First time, you fooled everybody. Fooled everybody because everybody was taking up for you. Everybody was trying to give you a pass. People was trying to reach out to you. You don't want to listen to the older players. You think they don't know. They've been in the NBA. Could you imagine if Shaquille O'Neal, who works for TNT, is riding around with a bunch of homeboys and they're in the car, they all flashing guns and smoking weed? You think TNT want that representation from Shaq? No. The NBA is an association. It's a brotherhood. It's a family. Players support each other. But ain't no player in the NBA that is currently playing has came out and support what you've done. You got a lot of ex-players saying that you should be suspended the whole year without pay. But you don't get it. When Latrell Sprewell choked his coach, he got suspended. Draymond Green hit his teammate, got suspended. What make you think you're special? Kobe Bryant has his situation. The Lakers dealt with it. Public apology. And whatever he had to do. You just can't do what you want to do. I don't care what generation you thinking. I don't care how much money you think you're making, how much money you got. The easier you get it, the quicker it'll be taken away from you. If you don't want to abide by the rules and regulations of the NBA, retire. And go and hang out with the Pookies and Ray Ray and let them support you. Go out to Compton. Crips offer you to come out there and hang out there. Go ahead. You wouldn't last 30 seconds. Why can't you understand that at the age of 23, by the age of 33, you could be a billionaire? generational wealth that you could pass down and help other people in communities that are suffering. Do you ever think the NBA later on in life want to sell you a team? Nope. Because what you do now is how they're going to hold you later on, especially being black. I made a suggestion last week that the NBA should employ some of the OGs to come and work in each NBA city. Give them an office for the younger players to mentor them. Maybe have conversation with them if they're having problems. Maybe they can't talk to their coach. You can't talk to a lot of the players on these teams today because all of you are about the same age. I know you're not going to listen to Steven Adams because he's older than you. Not that much older than you, but he's not the starter team, so you're not going to listen. When it became that the starter team ain't got to listen to somebody else who ain't the starter team. You was cocky, saying that we got the West is not what we worried about, and you got bounced in the first round. Hurt or not hurt, no excuse. Next player up. When you look at the Miami Heat players, look at the plays on the Denver Nuggets, look at Kawhi Leonard and all the plays on the Clippers, you don't see none of them getting into trouble, or the Milwaukee Bucks. Nobody in the NBA want to play with guns in videos but you. Now, this ain't to say that players ain't riding around with guns in their cars for protection if they allowed in their state or whatever. You know, I guess the NBA, the law of y'all can smoke weed, certain cities you can smoke weed in, certain states you can't, or whatever. I don't care. My whole point is, why are you doing stupid shit? You doing hood shit, and you making too much money to be doing hood shit. And what you're doing, you in a whole different league than all your friends. Why don't you set up a corporation and teach your friends how to be business-like? Cut your hair. Become more professional looking. Be like LeBron James' crew, Rich Paul and them. But if the route you're going with, the NBA is not going to trust you. You can't be trusted no matter what you say. Gilbert Arenas told you to disappear all summer. Go work out, go do something positive, just go away. But nah, 2 weeks after NBA season is over, your season is over, here you go again. At a club with no shirt on, dancing on top of the car. Like, homie, what kind of attention do you want? You're not getting no attention at home? Oh, I forgot. Your parents really can't say too much because they don't want to get cut off. Because you look like the type of dude that'll be like, yo, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm grown. So they fall back. Go talk to Grant Hill. Talk to Penny Hardaway. Talk to Vince Carter. Talk to Kenny Smith. Talk to some of the players that's been there, done that. You got players that was expelled from the NBA because he was Muslim and wouldn't stand for the national anthem. Different time, different era. But now you want to play with guns. Well, now you know what? Just retire. Hold a press conference. Say you want to retire from the NBA and you want to hang out with your friends and you want to play with guns. The NBA is responsible also for the type of music you play in these arenas. And it looked like a fashion show when every player coming to the game. Man, that's why a lot of your teams can't win, because you're winning by how you look when you're dressed, walking around with pocketbooks. But that ain't the problem. You the problem, homie. You gonna mess around. There's going to be some real dudes. There's going to be an Omar out there that's going to test you. You know who Omar is, right? From The Wire. Rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, who played Omar. He had the hood on the edge. When he used to come out, everybody used to run. They used to have a signal with a whistle. You're like, Omar's coming. You're going to run into one of those. Because you got brothers out here that don't care about you. They'll take what you got. They'll stick you up. Look how many rappers are dead right now because of hate. Quavo. Homeboy from the Migos, not Quavo. Oh God, what's his name? You got Young Dolph that's dead. You know, just Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, Jealousy. It's respectfully say Takeoff. John Morant, this is a message from an OG who been around, old enough to be a grandfather, homie. And you playing a dangerous game, because once the NBA puts you out, you out for good. To see, just if a team cuts you, trust me, you think they're not going to tell all the other owners of the other team not to sign you? Look at Miles Bridges from the Charlotte Hornet, who had a problem with his baby mama, put his hands on her. Lost his neck. He didn't even have a next. He was waiting to get his next contract from last season. He's not in the NBA at all. Do you know what you got to do to get back into the NBA once they put you out? It's different if you got hurt or you had a drug problem and they let you back in. Michael Ray Richardson, back in the days, the New York Nets had a drug problem, man. That he lost his career over that. You say they're still smoking weed. But tell me, John Morant, why don't you just retire? And all the Pookies and Ray Rays, why don't you set up a GoFundMe, because he definitely gonna need the money. But see, y'all the type of people like, yeah, you know, he had it, but he lost it all. He lost it because of people like y'all. The stupid comments y'all making, you don't understand. Do you understand the NBA is a corporation? If a record label, right now, if Atlantic Records said to all their artists, rappers, you're not allowed to have any guns in your music videos, or you will lose your record deal. You think them artists is not going to respectfully do who they work for? Because you work for the record company, they funded your career. Everybody in this industry worked for somebody. Everybody has a boss. You're not a sole proprietor of nothing. It's not your money. It's their money. When I say their, you know who I'm talking about. John Morant want to run around here. You know how many kids that want to do right, that came from the hood, that want to get out and do right and not want to be part of that no more? But being the fact you ain't from the hood, so you get into the NBA and you want to associate yourself in the hood. NBA need to have more stricter rules with the players and the collect CBA of bargaining, because I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of looking at you privileged players getting, after 2 or 3 years, hundreds of millions of dollars and haven't even proven yourself yet. Nothing against Zion Williams, because he's been hurt, but look at the money he's getting. They haven't proven him. He's been hurt. He missed more games than he played in the last 3 years. And you got players that want to play, but they still get hurt. Like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Guess you was too young to remember Paul George accident where he snapped his ankle. He wants to play. And this generation of players is going to get way more money than any players that are Hall of Famers that made money in the NBA. And yeah, it's come down to the money. Now you think Power A is going to believe you? They need to go and give it to Jason Tatum. They need to find somebody on the Heat to give the money to. But you young. You got a lot of people that follow you because you're not a role model. You're just a person that a lot of kids look up to and want to be like you. At the end of the day, you got more negative press than you got positive press. You're a good basketball player. You ain't great yet. You're good. But at the end of the day, why don't you just retire from the NBA? And just go ahead and live the life you want to live. And let's see how long it'll take you before you realize that you had it good. That's all I have to say. This is your brother Van Silk. Not in my house with Van Silk on YouTube. Not in my house with Van Silk on Rumble.com. And not in my house with Van Silk on Anchor Podcasts. Social media is greater than nothing. Cultural media is greater than social media. Y'all have a blessed day. Think about it, John Morant. Pookies and Ray Rays, get to understand what corporations and rules and regulations is about.